Doug Wildey, Western comic book artist by David Smith. Jonny Quest was an animated TV series in 1964, produced by Hanna-Barbera, written and drawn by Doug Wildey. This is his most famous work, but Wildey also drew many genres, including westerns. His earliest western art began in 1949 with Buffalo Bill, Gunsmoke, and Indian Fighter. In 1954 through 1957, he worked for Atlas Comics, which later became Marvel. In those days, the artist didn't always get credit for the cover pages or stories. Besides other genres, he also drew 4 to 5 page stories in a series titled Frontier Western. He also worked with Stan Lee, who is very famous for Marvel superheroes. Stan Lee once said, "Doug Wildey, wow, he was great, so terrific. I loved his stuff. I wish we had a chance to do more together." In another Atlas series titled The Outlaw Kid, Wildey illustrated 3 or 4 stories in each of 19 issues. Almost 20 years later, from 1970 to 74, most of these comics were reprinted by Marvel. In between and while drawing comic books, he also drew comic strips for newspapers and worked on several other animated TV shows. Doug always returned to his Western art. In the late 1950s, he drew a comic strip for newspapers, a story about a troop of cavalry called Quincannon, but it was never picked up. Jim Badaboncourt published a portfolio containing more of Wildey's Western artwork titled The Cowboy Way in 1971. It holds around 26 illustrations. Doug also freelanced for Harvey, DC, and Dell Comics. I recently found out that he'd drawn Jonah Hex for DC Comics. It was actually Weird Western Tales, the comic where Jonah Hex got his start. But Doug had only drawn one issue, number 26. Luis Dominguez had done the cover art. This was the February of 1975 issue. Also in 1975, he co-created Kid Cody Gunfighter with Larry Lieber in Atlas Seberg comic series Western Action number 1. In 1983, Eclipse Monthly published the first of Doug's new story called Rio. Many folks say this is his best work. In 1992, I bought number 1 and number 2 of Rio at Bay, published by Dark Horse Comics. In doing this video, I discovered Rio, the complete saga, a graphic novel, although incomplete due to Doug's death. I did this video intending to show off some of my Western comic collection and Doug Wildey's art, and ended up learning a lot more about this talented artist than I previously knew.